Okay, is it just me, or are there any other people out there that think that you have either really good memory of things, or the people around you have a really crappy memory? If you can go back, do you guys even remember what your childhood was like? Do you even remember what it was like being a kid? Um, because I remember everything like it was yesterday, and I'll never forget. Um, when you experience something for the first time or know something, you you never forget it. It's like it was yesterday. But I remember when I was a little kid, I remember the dreams. I don't know if any of you guys can remember dreams that you had when I was a little kid. When you guys had a nightmare, what the nightmare was about, or um, like memories you had as a child, like for Fourth of July or anything. So I'm gonna share a couple things that I remember. When I was a little kid, I kept having this dream where I was flying high above the earth, and I had wings like a bird, and I was flying high above the earth, and I looked down at the earth, and the earth was like wintertime, like snow everywhere, frozen. There were these big green evergreen trees, and I saw two people standing on the ground, freezing, laying on the ground, freezing. Two people, buried in the snow, and they were freezing, like huddling together, try to stay warm. And I was flying high above them, and I look down, and I see them, and I fly down, and I put my wings over them to keep them warm. And it was cold, and I put my wings around these two people to keep them warm. And I was way too young at the time. And then it's kind of crazy because I got two brothers. One brother is younger than me, and then the other brother, which wasn't born until years after this dream I had as a kid. So I'm wondering if those were my brothers that I saw when I was first born into the world, Like, did I see them before they were born because I'm the firstborn? Like, what was that dream about? Another dream I had was when I was a kid, I had these weird dystopian dreams of like I was in the city, right? But the city was dark. There was like no lights. Like there were only a couple buildings that were lit up. There was like no lights. And the buildings that were lit up, they had like single file lines, and they were like locked down, like military compound, like dark buildings. The streets were empty. There were no cars. There were no people walking around. There was no one driving anywhere or doing anything. And I remember it was cold, and I remember there were like these military like security guard things, and they were going around rounding people up and bringing people to these buildings. And so I went into the building. I remember walking down a street following these people, and I go into this building, and we go stand in line, we go through line, and then we get in this building, and everyone's just sleeping on the floor. And so I slept on the floor with all these other people. It was a really weird dream. And I remember leaving the building, and we had to go to another building, and there were no buses, no transportation or anything, so we had to walk from one building to the other, and it was like pitch black out. Another dream I had, which was kind of weird, was I was in this submarine, like underwater, and all of a sudden there were like these explosions, and the submarine, like all this water like cold freezing water started pouring in on us, and it was me and a couple people in the submarine, and we knew that we were like gonna drown or something. And so what I did is I climbed up this ladder, and I opened the hatch, and we all go out of the hatch, and I'm swimming, I'm holding my breath. I can't hold my breath any longer. I just keep swimming and swimming and swimming, trying to make it to the surface, gasping for air. And I get to the surface, and I get out of the water, and I gasp for air, and I look around, and I notice I'm in a pond. I went from a submarine swimming all the way up to the surface, and I come out, and I'm in a pond. Really weird dream. But the craziest dream that I have ever had in my life was a nightmare. I've actually had 2 nightmares. The one nightmare was as I was like in Florida, swimming through all these canals, like underwater with like a straw, and I was swimming through all these canals trying to avoid these people, because these people were like driving these trucks like street to street to street, and they were just annihilating people. And like they were making sure there was like nobody left, and they were going street to street to street. And so what I did is I dove in the canal and I swam in the canal, and I'm holding a straw up to breathe, and there's like dead people all around me in the water in the canal, and there's other people hiding in the canal trying to hide from these things, these people. And I'm just swimming through the canal, and I get to a boat, and I get on the boat, and there were a couple other people on the boat, and then we left. We left Florida because of what was going on. That was a pretty crazy nightmare. I was terrified. But the most terrifying nightmare I've ever had as a kid is this one. I was in like an airport. It was like an airport or a mall. You know, like at the mall or the airport, they have these big bathrooms with all the stalls and the automatic faucets with the dryers and the paper towels with the lights. You put your hand under and the paper towels come out. Well, I remember I was in the mall with all these people, and all of a sudden people started screaming and running and fleeing all over the place. And I look over and I see like these huge, tall, like creatures, like, and I was so young, I don't know, I guess I could call them demons, but they were like these big, black, tall creatures with long arms, long hands, and they were just killing as many people as they can, like just tearing people apart. And I was terrified. I was alone by myself, and I didn't know what to do. So I ran to the bathroom because it was the closest thing. I ran to the bathroom. I sat down on the toilet. I closed. I locked the door, and I hid in the stall. And I'm hiding there in the stall of this bathroom. And all of a sudden, I hear this big bang, and the door comes flying open. And I realize this thing had gouged an entire hole out of the wall, like blew the whole wall out of the building of the bathroom and blew the stall open, and it grabbed me. And you ever have that feeling where you're trying to run and run and run away? You're trying to run away. You're running as fast as you can, but you know you don't have the energy, and no matter how fast you run, it's just you feel doomed, hopeless that this thing is going to get you, no matter how hard or fast you run. That's the feeling I get. It's the most terrifying feeling you've ever had, and it was a nightmare, like the worst dream of your life. And when you're a little kid, you never forget the nightmares you had, like the worst dreams. Now, I don't know what it is, but my memory is really good. I remember everything. I may not know what I had to eat this morning for breakfast, but I remember everything in my life. And those nightmares, you'll never forget. And another thing I remember is when we were in school, we would all, I don't know about all of us, but a lot of us would get called up to the principal's office, and we had to sit in the office, and we had to like take this test where it was like a couple pieces of paper, and they had like different colors and different shapes, and they would ask you what color you see and what shape and like basic numbers and letters and stuff. And it was like normal test, you have like 4 answers to choose from and like none of the above. I remember this one, you only had 3 answers to choose from, and you had to choose, it's like 25 questions or something. You had to choose out of the 3 answers which one's the correct answer. And then after that, they gave us a test where you had to put this headset on, and they would have the beeps. They'd beep in this ear, and then the beep would move to this ear, and then the beep would move to this ear, and it would get quieter and quieter. It was like a hearing test, but they were testing like which ear you heard the beep in. It was like a hearing test, and they did this in the principal's office. Well, we had that test and the written test, and then now that I'm older now, and I heard this thing called the GATE program. And so I started reading it because a lot of other people have the same memories that I have, like the dreams, the going to the principal's office, taking the tests. And I'm reading right here, it says the GATE program, in the context of mall world dreams. Apparently these dreams, I'm not the only person that had these weird dreams as a kid. It says, is a viral internet theory. It links to reoccurring dreams of sprawling liminal mall world, a mall or an airport, to people who attend school, gifted or talented education programs, which are called GATE programs. It speculates that former GATE kids might have shared psychic experiences, heightened ESP, or shared dream realm templates. The mall world phenomenon is the setting, a persistent, reoccurring dream environment that often features a massive, deserted Y2K-style shopping mall, an adjoining water park. I do remember a water park, the submarine, complex transit, or airport hubs. I remember the airport, and notoriously convoluted or out-of-order bathrooms. And I remember the bathroom, like I said, with the demon thing. And that's another thing, this demon thing, there's something called DAEMONS. They're not demons, they're daemons. And daemons, what run, like the coding for artificial intelligence, are run off of daemons, not demons. And this thing, I'm starting to think now that I'm older and I'm seeing all these robots and all the technology and how smartphones adjusted and how everything changed in 2012. I think we all were living the same life, and up to 2012, all of our like little ecosystems, our own little worlds that we live in around 2012, they all converged into the world we have now, and that's what the Mandela effect is. So everybody has their own view of the world, and all of our views converged in 2012, and that's why things had so radically changed, where people, they don't have memories anymore, or they have memories of things that never occurred, or they just don't remember anything, period. Or they're like me and they have really good memories, unusual good memories. It says, the connection, many adults who grew up in, and like I said, robots. I think these things in my nightmares and my dreams were robots, and I think these dreams are not just dreams, they're like premonitions of future events, possibly. Because they felt so real. Like when you ever go to bed and you're sleeping and you wake up the next day and you're aware that you're sleeping, you're aware of being asleep. That's like, they call it out of body or whatever, lucid dreaming or whatever. I think that's what that is. And that's why those dreams, you remember them so well as a kid, because you were like lucid dreaming as a kid, you know? Like, it says the connection. Many adults who grew up in the early 1980s and 1990s, me, millennial, GATE programs frequently reported experiencing these specific dreamscapes. Some theorize that heightened problem solving, cognitive abilities, which I'm a mechanic, I'm very good at solving problems and sharing these experiences. It says, or childhood trauma common to gifted children make them more prone to lucid dreaming and exploring the shared mental landscape. And I sometimes, occasionally, I have dreams, the same dreams as an adult. It says shared consciousness. Like I said, some theorize is an expression of Carl Jung's collective unconscious universal archetype sharing across humanity. Maybe that's why we all share these same dreams, because they're actual events that occur as we grow into adults. Psychological/neurological psychologists suggest, and like I said, there's no such thing as a dream, a psychological, it's all in your head. No, everything in our brain is a physical connection. Just like how your television works, the electricity running down the power line is all physical connections. Okay? They're physical connections. There is no mental dream, it's all in your head. Yeah, no. Your brain, the neurological pathways in your brain is exactly like the wires in your car. They send signals, electricity, and those signals drive motors and cause you to think and have contractions in your brain and allow you to think and have dreams and talk. You know, it's all electrical, it's physical. There's no mental function in us. They lied to us about everything. I mean, whatever. It's a psychology, manifestations of anxiety, memory processing, neurodivergence rather than a result of specialized educational programs. Well, I don't know. Nobody knows if these programs exist or not. I will tell you one thing. This TV show, The Strangers Things, is real. The Montauk Project is real. The Monarch Project is real. These gate programs are real. The tests that they gave me in school were real. The dreams that we all had are real dreams. And if they're not dreams, if they're made up dreams or dreams implanted in us that never even occurred, where did they come from? Those are big questions to have. I'm going to keep this video nice and short. Hope YouTube likes it. And I hope you guys like it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Have a nice day. Adios. If you know, you know.